on the second of NGB's 2015 awards, we have got the best surprise of the year. So this is a game that either came out of nowhere, or you were expecting to be terrible and it was actually great, or maybe it's just one that like there was a release that just kind of got announced and released very, very quickly. So, or it just could have just snuck up on you. So we'll start off. Essentially, everybody has voted for different ones, apart from one game which has got 3 votes. So that game is Until Dawn.
Yeah, definitely. I voted for that, so I'm happy with that.
I voted as well.
Yeah, so that was kind of really good because I think you guys, you obviously voted for it. I've got it. I've not started playing it yet. So if we do the same categories next year,
bruv, you got to start playing that.
If we do the same categories next year, Until Dawn is probably going to be my old game of the year. But we'll discuss those in a bit. But yeah, you guys just if you wax lyrical about Until Dawn for a bit.
I reviewed it and I thought I like to say that I was the pioneer that started this trend, by the way. Just thought I'd point this out. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and then suddenly after that, there was like a barrel roll of like praise coming for it. So I'll take credit for that. It's fine. But no, the game is really good. It's I was looking forward to it to be honest. Like we saw the earlier incarnations of it were like a move game. Mm-hmm. I remember when it was first announced, and then they changed it into what it is now. Essentially, an interactive horror story-based game, essentially, and it plays on the kind of teen horror movies, like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer type thing, and it does it really well. The script, if you take that into consideration, is very, very good. It knows what it is. It's not afraid, to use certain cliches or tropes from the genre, but add a bit of a spin on it as well. And the kind of choices you make as well, they do matter, and they do impact thoroughly what's going to happen as you move forward as well. And the way the dynamic works, like at the start, certain characters you'll be like, oh, I hate that guy or I hate that girl. But then as you move through the game, you're like, you know what? That character's kind of growing on me. And you almost play the role, I think, you almost play the role of a director here. So like you're the Wes Craven here, like directing your own teen horror slasher movie. And you can choose kind of who lives or dies, I guess, pretty much. Obviously, like you want to try and let everyone survive at the end, but it's a really difficult thing. Some of the controls towards the end are really difficult. Like there's no spoilers. Like you have to keep the DualShock really still within a certain like zone, and it's really difficult. Like you think it's going to be easy, but it's not. But so there's certain parts like that. So the controls are used really well as well. And it just kind of came out of nowhere, I guess, and surprised people with its, and it's got replayability as well. So you can go through it and try and save other characters or be a complete dick and try and kill everyone. But it's a really good game. Really good game. It's one of the most interesting games released this year, and one of the surprising, well, that's why it's got this award from us. One of the most surprising games on the PS4, and I think I said in my review, it's actually a must-own for PS4 owners, because the fact is you can play it on your own, and you can have also someone else playing it with you, kind of helping you along. So you can so if you've got your partner, or if you've got an older brother or older sister, whatever, if they're old enough to kind of watch 18+ movies or whatever like that, then they can join you and kind of like help you through, make decisions. And I've known people who have actually done that, like played it through like that. And it's really fun game.
Cool. I think you've picked up on something there where you've said people can play it together. That's a great point, and I think there's been a lot of people that I know in terms of sites and things like that where they've recommended picking the game up for like Halloween parties. So everybody sits around the TV, everybody starts playing it, and then you'll be like crouch around it. One person's got the controller, and you'll be like, "Oh, don't go in there, go there," and stuff like that. So that could be a really cool way to play it, and I'm looking forward to doing stuff like that. Actually,
genuinely jump scare moments. Like it's not a shame. It's not a shame to like it kind of wears them on its sleeve, but you will jump. I jumped at a few moments. I was like, "Oh crap, And if you've got the PlayStation and the camera, it will capture those moments. So I'm pretty sure Gary's got his moments captured, right? Gary, is that right?
I actually didn't do that.
Oh man!
But yeah, what a game it is! It's fantastic. yeah, it might be a bit cliched in its story, but I think that's its charm, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, when we sort of played it early on, I was a bit worried about it when it was when the final release. I was a bit like, is it going to end up being a flop? But to be all credit to them, they've produced a fantastic game. It's just a very polished game. The voice acting's fantastic. The story, if you're into sort of the teen horror stuff, is just brilliant. And yeah, just your decisions sort of make all the difference. Like you sort of said, Asim, like at the start you sort of hate certain people.
Yeah.
But then you sort of, after sort of sitting down for a few hours, you sort of think, well, hang on a minute. The reason I'm hating that person is because of my decisions.
Yeah.
And then you sort of, it's a fantastic...
It switches. Yeah, it completely does. Yeah, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah, if you own a PS4, you've got to experience it.
It's so cheap now as well.
I picked it up for about 15, 16 quid the other day. So.
Bargain. Absolute bargain.
Yeah, that is a bargain, yeah.
Cool. And then really we'll sort of wrap up the rest of them, to be honest. We've got Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which Deb really, really enjoyed. I've got to say, the more I think about that game, the more I think I was a bit too harsh on it in my review. Like it's stuck with me a lot longer than I thought it would do.
Man. Why do you give it a low score?
Well, I think I gave it 7.5. You know, it's a good score. And it seems to be one of those things where like it stuck with me a lot more after the fact. So I
haven't played it, so I have no idea.
No, I haven't. No.
It is really good. It's you know, in the most pure sense of the word, it is a walking simulator. So
okay,
you walk around and you just interact with stuff there. That it's easy to miss things, but you can always sort of backtrack, even though it'll take you about a week to do so. It's it's pretty good. Other games.
Nice.
Sorry.
No, nice.
No, I was going to say, the other ones that are in there, we've got Charles voted for Pez. He thought it was going to be essentially the same thing again, but
that's because of me. That's because I told him to fucking play it. That's why.
And I think I'd probably be in that boat as well. To be honest, I was expecting more of the same from Pez, but it's actually pretty good this year.
Yeah, very good game this year. Yeah.
Yeah, it eventually came out in December, but you know what I mean. It's
Hey. Nick voted for Prison Architect on the PC, which I can see why actually, because again, it's a game that I've played a little bit of, and it's very, very addictive. And again, that seems to have come out of absolutely nowhere. It was in early access for quite a while, which got a little bit of buzz, but then it kind of disappeared, and then all of a sudden it just like, oh yeah, and it's out, and it's just exploded.
Yeah. That reminded me, just before I was going to pick something else for this, but then until I picked Until Dawn, I was going to pick Her Story.
Yes. Actually, that's a really good show.
Which kind of surprised me. I mean, I played it on the back of people talking about it, but still I wasn't expecting a lot from it. But it's basically just kind of like Googling simulator. You're just kind of Googling stuff and finding clips and trying to figure out what's going on.
You're like a detective, right?
Yeah, you just sort of like search for clips and trying to piece things together, figure stuff out about this woman's story and about her relationship with her husband and whatnot and all stuff like that. But yeah, the way she portrays herself, the way she acts in it is brilliant. And it kind of left me thinking for a while about, the different permutations, like what exactly happened. And it's really good.
Yeah, there's a huge discussion in there to be had as well about like mental illness and personality disorders. Not without spoiling anything, but there's a huge discussion to be had within Her Story, and it is a fantastic little game. I mean, I played it on an iPad when I was on a plane. And I just didn't want to stop. I'd probably spent about 6 or 7 hours solid just playing that game. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Robin voted for Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, which was obviously the sort of standalone expansion for
Gary's
the New Order. I've not picked it up, if I'm honest, and if I'm completely honest, I've still not finished the New Order.
Neither have I.
But it sounds like that was a really good standalone piece of content, and it's again, that came out of nowhere. There wasn't really any fanfare for it, and it just kind of hit, and everyone went, "Oh, there's a new Wolfenstein thing." So that certainly sounds like it's been a decent and worthy contender for the year.
That is good DLC. Like I know DLC gets a lot of rap for just like there are some bad DLC sort of packages out there, but that is a very good sort of extra to the sort of main game. So yeah, you can probably pick that up like really cheap now.
It's like £7 now, isn't it?
Yeah, something stupid like that.
It's really, really good. So if you can, you definitely experience it because it's very good.
Have you finished it then, Gary?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, so would you say that if you've not played the New Order, is it probably worth picking up the Old Blood to get a feel for it? Or
Yeah, you don't really need to play the New Order, to be honest. Obviously, it's probably better if you do in a way because you sort of know more of the sort of backstory and the characters or whatever, but it's not sort of essential to sort of having like the best sort of experience with so yeah, to be honest, I think that's why they released it on disc as well, because you don't really need to.
It's a standalone experience, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't played the New Order, then yeah, I can't see there being an issue playing the expansion, to be honest.
Cool. And my choice, which I didn't see coming at all, it got kind of sneak announced it just before E3, and then it got announced properly at E3, was Transformers Devastation. Just was not expecting Platinum to come out with a game based on G1 Transformers, and the fact that it hit was like it was kind of announced and then released within about 3 or 4 months. And I'm really enjoying this quick turnaround of games. Like we've got Far Cry Primal as well. That's coming out in February when that was announced a couple of months ago. Yep. So you've got these quick turnaround games, and you're thinking, bloody hell, where's this come from? And I mean, if you really want to get to brass tacks, you could say that Fallout was the same thing, where that was essentially announced earlier in the year, but everyone knew that was coming. Yeah. So Transformers was great. It was essentially Bayonetta with robots.
I played a bit. It's pretty good.
It's really good fun. It's a solid 60 frames, and it's, again, that's another one now that's cheap. You can pick it up for about 15 quid. If you haven't, do it, because it's
I need to.
Oh, it's so much fun. It really is. It's quite short, but it's got replay value. You can jump back into it and just hack and slash your way through stuff as Optimus Prime or Bumblebee, or it's so much fun. And
I mainly want to play it just because of the nostalgia reasons, to be honest. Yeah,
totally. And that's the thing. Like, it looks staggering as well. Like you've got this feel of the 80s cartoons constantly. Like you can take a screenshot of it and it just looks like a still from a cartoon. It's fantastic. The cell shading is amazing, and Platinum have done an absolutely stunning job with it, and I really hope that they put out this rumoured Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, so they are our biggest surprises of the year. Until Dawn takes it because it's just been a knockout for everybody that's played it, and I think those that haven't put it in that list maybe haven't played it. That's the reason. That's the reason I didn't put it in there. But by all accounts, it's something that I should definitely play, and it is one that I will be playing soon because I say I picked it up dirt cheap. So there you go. Our most surprising game of 2015, or the biggest surprise, or best surprise, however you want to phrase it, is Until Dawn.